My name is Andy Rivera and I am a bisexual. So this is to all my bisexuals out there. I struggled with coming out as bisexual because for a long time, and I still feel it to this day sometimes, I feel like people just don't believe me. They think that I'm gay and that I'm just not ready to admit that I'm 100% gay, or maybe that I'm straight and I'm just experimenting. People have a harder time digesting the fact that somebody can be bisexual and like both things, and that caused an enormous amount of confusion in my head when I was younger, because all those thoughts that were kind of being thrown at me became my own thoughts. So for those of you who are worried about that label, it's just a label. Remember that most of the time those labels are for other people and they're not necessarily for yourself. In these types of situations, you need to put yourself first. There was this one time when I was living in Chicago, there was a big sports game going on. Wrigleyville was out of control. I think a Chicago team had just won, so there was people out on the street celebrating, drinking, partying, having a good time. I was with one of my friends. He tends to goof off and, you know, he likes to joke around with people. We were walking on the street and my friend said something very jokingly to a dude kind of just like walking by us. He said something along the lines of like, "Ooh, I want to kiss that pretty mouth," or something really goofy, silly like that. This guy all of a sudden just went from like a dude walking down the street to this really pissed off, angry man who then took his hand and he grabbed my friend by the ear and he like was pulling on his earlobe and he said, "What did you say to me, faggot?" And I was like standing right there. I'd never seen or heard anybody use that word in such a malicious way, and to truly say it just to hurt somebody. In that moment, me and my friend were both just kind of like in shock. Aside from the fact that this guy could probably kick both of our asses because he was a big dude, I think that we were just beside ourselves and we didn't really know how to react, and he ended up walking away. But the feeling that was left with us had kind of just dampened whatever good mood that we were in. We had those few moments after that situation together. We kind of talked it out. We kind of expressed our feelings to each other, our confusion, what the fuck just happened. And you know, we got through that situation and we can look back in that moment and kind of laugh at it now. But at the time, it was just pure hate that we witnessed. There are gonna be moments where you're gonna come across people who hate and people who don't understand and people who aren't open-minded. You're gonna come across those people on the street, walking by the street, just like we were. You can either choose to hate back, or you can choose to try to understand them in your own way, and then realize at the end of the day that you are who you are and you're not gonna let anybody else change that. I have this weird fascination with celebrities who come out. Thinking about their situation and how much they're in the public eye and how little privacy they have, having to deal with that and then still trying to maintain your own personal identity. I just fucking find that fascinating. It's already hard for some people to come out as being gay. And so when I see that happen, I feel inspired by that because I can see how difficult that situation is, and I can still see that person persevering and standing up for who they are and what they believe in. And although it may not be an ideal situation, may not be on their own terms, they're still capable of realizing, this is who I am, this is what I'm gonna be, and I'm gonna tell the whole world. And I think at that point, they almost feel a responsibility to be a role model. To see somebody so well known take responsibility and kind of step up to the plate and do that for the LGBT community, I think is awesome. We are living through some difficult times, but I also believe that we're part of one of the most progressive, open-minded, accepting, understanding generations that have ever walked the face of this planet. But I also believe that there is an enormous amount of opportunity for us to keep on moving forward. If the last decade or two are any indication of what these next few decades are going to be coming up, then I think we're on a great fucking track. That being said, people that are around in this generation, this transitional generation, this generation of change. I think it's up to us, and I think that we and you have a certain responsibility because we do live in this time. It's not just any time, it's this time in America making this kind of change. Here's our opportunity. It's right now. We all have a part in it. We just need to figure out how we can help.